Hey everybody, how are you? Happy Tuesday. I have to tell you, I've probably played 700 to 800 live shows in my life, and there's no feeling, for me at least, than performing for a crowd. But when I'm on here with you guys, it kind of beats that. Mike, you are very welcome. It was an honor having you on, and I'd love to talk about your experiences. So reach out and we'll set it up. Happy birthday to a girl that I know pretty well. She is a lurker. She doesn't comment, and it's her 54th birthday. I could tell you her name because it wouldn't mean anything to you. Loretta. So, very happy birthday, dear. So, Unscripted Adventures, episode 1. We are going to have every week. So, just to test your mathematical prowess, next week would be number 2, episode 2. And what we're going to talk about is anything you want to talk about, but I'm going to start with the description, which stated, and I went to great lengths to write this. Well, let's see it. Well, you'll see it in the description about at 64, how my life has changed. So, post 60, what has changed? Well, I think that when you really look at your life, there are things that you want to do mentally that the body just goes, no, 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 you're not doing that. Problem is, the body, before they said that to you, was taking a sip of coffee and you got up and tried to do what you wanted to do already. So you're in the middle of the ski uh, slope. And as soon as you take off, no, don't do that. I'm one of those people that is adventurous. Haley, yeah, I was young. I went down the expert slope. They made a mistake. You want to get out? I'll go. I ended up taking a tumble that I found the ski about 2 states from where I was because they snap off. And oh, did I get banged around? I chipped a tooth. I did. And the greatest thing was they refused to let me go up alone. And these skiers, the EMS guys that have this long stretcher that they put you on, it was up at Butternut in Massachusetts. And they're faster than an ambulance. They're amazing skiers. I thought I was in a James Bond movie looking around. And you know how I love James Bond. But and I was probably at that time 38. So doing it now would not be fun, only for the guy videoing it. But there are so many things. And you have to adjust yourself to a new normal. It's much like losing someone close to you, breaking up with your girlfriend, whomever did it, your wife, right? There's a new normal. It's never going to be the same. Why? Because same implies, people, that it's the same. If it's not the same, how could it be the same? You could will it all you want, but it's not happening. So the person that realizes quicker than his contemporaries that I better calm down and act like all right, you want to go for it if you're 64? Let me act like I'm 62. I'm still getting over 2 years, but not like I'm 42. Take it from me, who I'm a guy that at this age, which I'm not a hero, I have no problem getting in the car right now, going to parks, hour and a half drive, playing for an hour and coming home at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm fine with it. I never had a problem driving. Always loved I like driving alone, honestly. I like blasting my music. I don't want to have conversation most of the time with people. I just want to do my thing. I was always a free spirit. Always. I was always a night person. I was in a band for years. We toured. We went to different states. I was with my guys. I did DJing late night in bars. Uh, I'm just a night person. It's amazing that I haven't missed a day of work in 2 years that I'm teaching because I don't go to sleep till 4 o'clock in the morning half the time. Now, true, I don't have to teach till 1, but I still have to get up at 11. And many times I'll get up at 8:30 or 9. I'm just a night person, a night owl. There have been times when I've gotten up early where I said, "Well, it's pretty cool." It reminded me of Joe Ganiscola in The Sopranos when he ran to New Hampshire, running away from Jersey, and he got this job as like a handyman, and he's ready for lunch, and he's laying down, and he sees the sun. Well, the position like this, it must be like 40 minutes until noon. Let me savor it. And then he looks, fuck, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, it didn't get there fast enough for him. And that's what happens. I've gotten up early, like at 6:30, showered and everything. I felt like I lived a full day. It's 10 after 9. Now, that's a good thing too. A lot of people like to be early risers, be clean people. You know what I mean? And I like it once in a while. You know when I like to be an early riser? When my flight's at 8 o'clock in the morning to go to Las Vegas. That's when I don't mind. I wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning like you shot a bottle rocket up my ass. Did I say rocket? Rocket. If it's something I want to do, I'm fine. I'm up with the sheep or cows or whatever you call it. See, I'm never up that early. I don't even know what the saying is. But if it's something I'm looking forward to. I remember when I was younger, I used to go to Vegas. I remember calling my friend Paulie. He lived with me for a couple of years when we were first with the band, and we worked at Merrill Lynch together. So he used to ferry from Staten Island. It was a pain in the ass. We'd be in the recording studio, sync to pink. I mean, we weren't recording, but we'd be there from 10 at night till like 2 in the morning and have to get up at 7. So instead of him going all the way back to Staten Island, he ended up living with me pretty much. And yes, Maria. So what happened was this is terrible. It's about 6:30 at night, and he's eating. My family loved them, and I lean over to him. It was a Thursday. As we had work at Merrill Lynch, 55 Water Street, Friday, and we have a gig Saturday night. But I knew we could cancel it, so I lean over. I said, "Let's go to Vegas." He goes, "Why? When?" I said, "Oh, 3 hours, 4 hours." He says, "Get the fuck out." I said, "No, I'm being serious." He goes, "You are being serious." This is a guy that was my cohort. This was a guy that when I went to collect money from a bookmaker, it was down a dark street and there was a sinkhole in the street, and Paul's Cutlass Supreme ended up halfway in it. We had to wait 3 hours for someone to tow us out. We had a lot of fun. We ended up leaving the red eye, which is 11 o'clock from JFK. I would like to think it was America West. This is 1980. I wasn't with Courtney yet. Probably 83. And yeah, all right. He'd follow me. Well, what about work tomorrow? Call out. No big deal. We were both part timers at that point. So we went. We took the red eye home Sunday and got in like 6 o'clock in the morning, Monday. And I didn't tell my parents. And we came home and they thought we just, I think I told my mother I was sleeping over Fred's house or whatever, one of the bandmates. Yes, Mike, that's amazing. 82, 83, 84 was great. My band started February 81. And originally it was called Desire. It was probably supposed to be Desiree. I'll tell you why. I'm at the Macy's counter and there was a perfume. I said, I got a name, Desire. It wasn't rocky enough, so we changed it to Voyager. They always let me do it. This way they could haunt me if I made the wrong decision, but we did okay. So, but that's great. Those festivals were great. We played in the Syracuse Festival, 1980, maybe 2, September. And it was great. Great festival. We played 5 hours, not straight. 45 off half hour, 45 off 20, 45 off. We ended up playing about 75 songs. We had 110 in our repertoire. See, my idea was, we had our own songs. Like we like to go to Kenny's Castaways because it was one original for every 5 covers. He lets you sneak in one of your originals. But for the most part, I said, listen, let's find B-sides. Because if we're up 4th, they're going to play 20 of our set. And what are we going to do? So we learned B-sides that people weren't playing. Beware of Darkness. George, no one was doing that. George Harrison. Green Tambourine. Gotta Hide Your Love Away. Then we did, Jenny, 8675309. We did What I Like About You. Tommy, too. And we did a lot. And we learned, we got better because we pushed ourselves to learn songs. So no matter what you played, 4 bands in front of us, we are going to have enough to do our own set. And we prided ourselves on that. We worked 3 nights a week, 5 hours a night in the studio. I mean, and we were working full-time jobs at the time. I think I got 3 or 4 hours of sleep a night for 2 years. But I was 23. I could do it. Now forget about it. Talking about it, I'm kind of like dozing off. But yeah, Mike, it's great. Yeah, I can't wait to have you on. Mike sets up stages. He lives in Canada. And Mike is going to be a guest, people. And he's going to talk to us about setting up the stages. I remember the road crew. We had a roadie, Mike. We bought a van. We had to put a window in it so we can go on the Bell Parkway. You can't have commercial. You have to have a window in the van. So we had someone cut it out for like $75 and put plexiglass. And we had an Econo van, 1979. And we had this guy, Val, who would drive us around. And we gave him like if we made 500, we gave him 100. And kind of a roadie. He'd bring his friend, and they'd, the drum set, break down the drums, break down the stage. We didn't have a lot of lighting. Went into a house system most time. We had stack amps, Marshall stacks, but for the most part, it wasn't that heavy. But we could fit the stuff in the van, and he'd drive us as we were wired afterwards, and it was a lot of fun. I don't think it's as fun today being in a band. I've been offered to drum in a couple of bands. I don't want to put the work in. And plus, a couple of them are metal bands. I'm not into that music. For me to have to learn, it's not worth it. Now, if it was a rock cover band, I know most of that stuff. It's 4 in the bar. What are you're not doing anything. Come in with a fill every once in a while, and it's either 3/4 tempo, 4 going to 3, whatever. So I'm fine with it. I could step my way through it. You just don't want to jump over the lead singer with fills. So that's the only thing you have to watch for, because they think you're trying to outshine. That's not a good way to keep your job. But at this point, I don't want to do the work. Yeah, I did Lamar. We opened up for Foghat in 83 or 84 at Lamore's. Yeah, it was 84. It probably was. We opened up for Foghat. And we played Lemoore East. We did one gig at Captain Walters. Yeah, but we played all over. Ernie Barry's. We played everywhere. Pierre's. But it was a lot of fun. It really was. Drug fueled. There was a guy named Mo that was the bathroom attendant. He was a little slow. Yeah, in fact, when we played, Lonesome Dave had just left the band. So whatever year, if you want to look it up, maybe Lonesome Dave. A bunch of guys. A lot of the members. They were a good band. I went on the stage with them to do Fool for the City. But they started around 1970, and the band originally, they were called Savoy Brown, and it was amazing. They were going around the U.S. with Savoy Brown in the late 60s. And Peverett, Earl, and Stevens developed a more rock-oriented sound from what the guitarist at that time, Kim Simmons, wanted to pursue. And they molded it. So they all left, and they struggled to find interest and all that. But they were good musicians. They had a lot of members. The guy Rod Price left the band in 80 or 81, and that was the end of their golden era, really. They had Rick Cartwright, I think. He was on stage when we were there, so he was the lead guitarist. And in the mood for something rude, stuff at that time, early 80s. But they had so many people. Craig McGregor left, and Nick Jameson came back. And then he got replaced by Kenny Aronson, who was really nice, but he got sick. I don't know if it was cancer or whatever. But they were really cool. And then Rob Alter came in, but he left for health reasons. They were all drugged out. But, they did the Zigzag Walk in 83. They were coming off that tour, and that's when they played Lamore. Right after that, I know Lonesome Dave retired, Dave Peverett, and he went to England. He was done with touring. He had toured like 15 years and he was done. In 93, I know they made a reunion. I don't know much more after that, but they were really cool. They were really cool. Oh, really, Mike? Your fog hat was good. Oh, did you really, Ali? Fool for the City. I went up. My keyboard, Paul, went up and did it, and I took rhythm guitar. It's a pretty simple song. The middle eight, the break is you're changing to almost a waltz. You go "Fool for the City," and then you go into the waltz time, and then you kick back out. But it was a great experience. They were good guys. They were druggies, but so was I. So I didn't care. It was fine. A song for you, Jackson Brown's "The Loadout." Well, that is going to be now the song that I'm doing on my short for Mike tonight. It goes out to him. Let me write it down. I still can't use the left arm great, so I gotta like reach across and everything. Okay. I like Jackson Brown. Jackson Brown's good. Did he do the song Missing You in the early 80s? We tried to learn that song. It was a tough song to do. Doom, 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 doo 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 doom, doom, doom. I think that was him. Or that might have been no, it might have been Fogelberg. It might have been Fogelberg. He was good. Of course, Maria. In fact, I'll lose my advertising. How's that to put it on right now? Now, let me dedicate it to him later so I have 800 or 900 instead of two people watching. No, I get close to between 700 and 1,000 views on each one of my songs. I get 5,000 a day. Last month I did 250,000 views. I hit 4 million views on my channel last month. I'm the best kept secret on YouTube, but I like it that way. Because this way I could have intimate conversations and know. And Maria, absolutely. Music is a soundtrack to your life, and it's incredible. Music, I have it on from the minute I wake up to the minute I go to bed. It, my God, I'm not even a music enthusiast because that would mean I'm normal. I'm way past that. So I hear life in songs. I do. I feel that everyone has a story to tell. Some people are brave enough to talk about it without music. Some people can only talk through music. And music is the metaphorical blood that keeps you sustained. Danae, you too? Good. I know you love it. I'm going to write a song for Vinny's Angels, Maria and Danae. I'm going to write one. I don't know what I'll call it. I'll be nice though. So yeah, so unscripted adventures really just means like every other show. I don't know what to talk about, but I enjoy living life through music because music, a song is like a puppy. Now, I wear my Colby, it's his ashes in there. And I actually just bought another chain for him. Uh, Music never disappoints you. You change because the song that you heard 30 years ago, if you put it on now, unless it's a reissue or it's the same song. So why do you feel differently about it? Because it's you. The song didn't change. You changed. I do feel life in songs, Mike, and the girls do too. And it's a wonderful way to maybe step out of your own mind without having to actually step out. You know what I mean? You can go for a stroll, but you could sit in the chair and go for the stroll. And after that 3 minute song, you've come full circle. Here we go again. Hey, Maria. I don't even want to venture to guess. I'm sure it's very nice though. So, yeah, so there's so many things I want to do. I really do. I'm not exactly sure what yet, but hopefully with you know, God's blessing, he'll keep me around long enough to do a lot of the things I want to do. Yeah, living life through music. Well, also you set up stages and stuff, so I'm sure a lot of them were bands. Buckle up and enjoy the ride. Absolutely. That's why roller coasters. I have a theory. You know why roller coasters are so important to people? Because you can live life on the edge without taking the risk. The guy could be wired up and live life on the edge, knowing that 3 minutes later, he could be sitting right where he started and get up and go get a coffee. He's not at the OK Corral. He just feels like he is. That's why roller coasters are so prevalent for people who want to live on the edge without, God forbid, feeling the edge. Cut them. You almost had a tear in your right eye there. Uh, music is defining because there are so many things that you can express in music that you can't express. I can tell someone, I'm really sorry about um, losing someone. They can say thank you. If I come up, don't say a word and just put It's a Wonderful Life by Louis Armstrong, they may cry. He's not even there saying it. I am. I'm at the wake. So why is he getting all the credit? Because the music elicits something that plain verbiage can't. Yes, it does. It does bring people together. I went parasailing back in 1985 in Aruba. I had a ball. I missed the wood deck and I ended up in the water when I landed, but it was okay. You wear a life preserver. Yeah. I'm trying to think of some of the greatest lyrical lines. Um, well, Daniel, that's about a guy in Vietnam. uh, movie lines. Absolutely. Movie lines are scripted without music, though. One of the best songs that you've ever listened to, right? If I just spat out the words to you, it's not going to be the same as if you hear the music. Oh, yeah. Aruba, Jamaica. Oh, 1986, I think. 86 or 87. Yeah, Mike Love wrote most of that. That was their big comeback song, the Beach Boys. I wanna take a glimpse. That's a great song. And the reason why that song did so well, Margaritaville was very big. Jimmy Buffett, Cocktail, yeah. And people were longing for that. You had those coming of age movies, Pretty in Pink around that time and all them. And people were getting nostalgic for nostalgia. Sometimes you don't even know why you miss something. You just miss it. No rhyme or reason why you miss it. You just miss it. It might not even be an important thing, but it was such a part of your everyday routine that you say, like, ah, man, where is that? Cocktail was a good movie. Very good movie. Oh, music can be because it elicits responses. And the problem is for you that at the moment you're listening to it, generally speaking, it's always going to mean something different. If you watch a movie 100 times, you're going to get the same feeling you always do from it. If you hear a song on the way to a wake, opposed to on the way to a wedding when you're driving, you're going to listen to the words more if you're feeling down. If you're feeling up, you'll listen to the music more. Almost Famous? I must have saw that. I don't I remember the title. Uh, it brings up memories, yeah. And what happens is the memories lead into it's a loop. It's a loop. The memories loop into other memories, and you have a little movie going on for 5 minutes in your mind because there's so much involved with the memory. If I remember perfect example, I met my first real serious girlfriend, she died of asthma attack 5 days before my birthday, 1983. Lydia, and I think at a Greenhouse Cafe, that's where we met in Bay Ridge. I think of well, if you wanna hear the story quickly, my friend wanted me to meet him at the Greenhouse Cafe. We had been there before, great chicken cordon bleu. I'm sitting there about 20 minutes, no one's in there. It's like late October, like a Wednesday night or something. I get the maitre d' who I gave my winter coat to, the Czech girl, there was no one there. "Are you Vinny?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "You have a phone call." My friend, all of a sudden, projectile vomiting 5 minutes before he's gonna leave the house and got really sick, couldn't meet me. So I said, "Well, I'm gonna eat anyway, but, he's not coming." And she came down and sat with me. We got along great. I said, "What time you get off?" 11, 12, whatever it was. I said "Would it be too forward to ask I'd like to take you home?" She goes, "No." I said, "Oh, okay, I'm sorry." She goes, "No, no, it's not too forward." I came back there because I was done by like 10:30. I went home, came back and out. I was only like 10 minutes. Picked her up. We went to the water, dead cold. Went to Dunkin' Donuts on Emmons Avenue, Sheepshead Bay, and talked. exchanged numbers, beeper number. She gave me her home number. I gave her my beeper number because I was never home. And I go to surprise her a few nights later, and she's in the catering room. It was a guy she was seeing for about 5 months, his mother's 45th birthday. Uh, she wasn't mad that I showed up, but it was around the time she'd be getting off. I figured I got there maybe 11 maybe. And she said, "Please come back." I said, "No, listen, that's fine. Thank you. Take care." I got beeped about 20 times in a half hour. I called her about 12. She was still there. And she said, "Just let me explain." I said, "You don't have to explain anything. There's nothing to explain." She said, "Will you please come here now?" Because she knew that I only lived 10 minutes away. I liked it. I said, "Yeah, okay." I go there and I drive her home. We're in front of her house for like 3 hours talking. She lived on Kings Highway in East Fifth. And she said, he booked his mother's party here because I lived here. I worked here. And, I like you. I said, "That's fine, though." She goes, "No, I really don't want to see him anymore." I said, "Well, you don't need me for that." She said, "No, you just made me realize that I really shouldn't be seeing him because I just wanted to leave when you left." And we started dating. We dated until August 9th of the next year. That was 82. 83 in August, I get a call in the morning. I had seen her the night before, and I told her I got a little something for her, which I did. I bought her like not an ankle bracelet, but those girls like those. Well, I forget what it was. And I get a call. Lydia died. I go, "Go fuck yourself." I thought it was a prank phone call. When it rang again, I knew it wasn't. And I only lived from her house 15 blocks. I get in the car, I rush over there. She was facing the window. Her back was to the door where I would look in. They took a diary. Her inhalator was on the dresser, and she didn't realize she was out of it. But then again, she never got to it. But it was empty, the albuterol. So she said, the cop said, "Did you have any plans, or were you getting engaged?" I said, "Engaged?" She said, the mother said, well, in her diary, she said you were going out to a special dinner and you were giving her a gift. I said, "Yeah, because I haven't, I've been working with the band. I got a Saturday night off and I wanted to take her out to dinner and I bought her something." She used to write, she actually had an article a couple of times in the New York Times. She was journalism in Brooklyn College. She was brilliant. She was, what a wonderful writer she was. And I said no. And within 40 minutes, Paulie hadn't been there that night at my house. Paulie's there and Fred's there, Dino's there, my band. And we're very tight. And they knew her. She didn't come to all the shows. She was scholastic, but she did come. And it was something that took me a long time. You don't realize at that age that things like that happen. You question why they happen. When you get older, you realize it sucks, but stuff happens because you've been through so much stuff. At 22, 23, you haven't been through that much stuff. And it was a rough go. And that's how so what I'm getting at is if I think of the Greenhouse Cafe, which I've been there since It took me 15 years to go back there. Um, I'll think of her. I'll think of the first night we met, the conversations in the car, everything. That's all from just mentioning, "You ever go to the Greenhouse Cafe?" I'll answer you 20 minutes later because I'm thinking all of this shit that I just told you. You know what? I'm not a strong man. It took me many years. You gotta remember, this is 40 years she's gone. I should be able to talk about it now. It still bothers me. It bothers me, honestly, because the earth lost a good person. Not to be selfish for myself. Her family, of course, lost her, but and she was 21. The world lost a citizen that makes the world better. And I said that. They asked me to say something at her wake. That was rough, but I got through it. Believe it or not, I kept on looking out at the crowd and making believe I was doing a concert. And I swear to you, that's how I got through. And I said, we all have lost someone dear to us. But the world lost one of its pillars, and it probably won't be correct on its axis for a long time. I remember saying that. Today, I have my friends used to joke. They said Vinny can kill you and then go eat a meal afterwards and not give a shit. People that really know me in here know that I'm not a soft guy, but I'm not embarrassed to say it. It's embarrassing not to say it. What a dismergement on her if I don't talk in glowing um, an epitaph that is glowing because she meant a lot to me. Someone shouldn't mean a lot to you because you're having a fun time and doing all that. It should mean a lot to you when they're not there anymore and you realize the part of your life that was taken away. Your heart is never the same, but it grows scar tissue. Doesn't mean you didn't have the injury. I could look at this shoulder right now. I'll show you. You probably see the holes from the surgery. Well, I don't know if you can see it, right? When those clear up, I still know when they take the X-ray. Oh, you had a repair of the tendon, and they all know. If they take an MRI, they don't see the scars, but they know exactly what happened to you because the body doesn't forget. The body is vulnerable to the point it doesn't have to mask it, and nor do I. If someone was important to me, it's important to me to show the world they were, or I had no right calling myself close to them. Vulnerability is very underrated, and very misunderstood because most of the people that are misunderstood, it's because they don't know the meaning. Most guys don't know what the term vulnerability means. If you ask them, "Oh, if I show that, guys are gonna think I'm weak." And every guy has an ego, I don't care who he is. No, they'll trust you more. I know, Danae. Now I'll tell you, I think it's, important to understand the meaning of something before you slam it. It's important. Most of humanity is afraid to show it. A lot of people know what it means, Danae, but they think it'll be held against them. A guy in prison, if they come and visit him and say, you lost your grandson in an accident, he's not going to cry. He can't. It's seen as vulnerability. In prison, let me tell you something. I have a couple of friends that are there. The reason why they don't let visitors, they don't want their family coming, is because they do their time. That's their new world. That's their new normal. You can't step in and out of prison and then real life. You can't do it. It's oil and water. Either you do the time and you excommunicate everybody, or you miss every second that you're out. You have to con yourself into thinking that this is your life. There's no outside. Prisons, this is the life. Prison. This is what the world is, prison. Once, like the memories I'm telling you, once someone shows you a picture of the new grandchild, I'm not there, they'll never know me, blah, 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 blah. And you'll get shanked because you won't see someone coming at you. If you don't know those things, you're not as sidetracked. It's survival. That's the truth. Absolutely. For the masses who know what it means, they're afraid. Well, if you're afraid that your friends will think you're an asshole, you know what? They aren't your friends. Because I know two wise guys who cried when they heard that their daughter was pregnant. These are two upper echelon guys, and they both cried. Once you get to be the boss, you can cry, do whatever you want, and they'll just say, "Ah." But trying to get there, you can't show the weakness. Hey, Mitch, give me 1 second, everybody. I promised my pal I'd wake her up. She has to go to work.
Hello?
You awake?
Yep, I never even fell out. I just watched TV.
Okay. She's awake. She never fell asleep. So it is what it is. We try to do the best we can. We're only human. The problem is some of us make believe we're not. Because we feel if we're human, wake up call, Danae, yeah, I'm a good guy. You have to realize, this is what you have to realize, people. I used to tell my son this, but my son never gave me a hard time. He's good. You are not the first person to ever think of this. The planet's 100 billion years old. You think you're the first person to ever tell a teacher that you slipped down the steps and you hurt your ankle and your notebook with your test was in it and it flew out? That's why truth is so important. I'll never forget in college, a teacher said to me, a professor, "You know, it was due today. How come you don't have it?" I said, "I didn't finish it." He was so happy with the honesty. He said, "Well, when do you think you can get it done by?" I said, "I had a very tough weekend." I said, "And I didn't want to just slap anything down on the paper. You know, I'm not going to sit on the toilet 10 minutes before the class and just write a bunch of shit that you don't care as long as I want to do the project." He said, "How much time do you need?" Well, I never pushed him. I was a good student. I said, "Just give me a couple of days." He said, "I'll tell you what, I'll give you the next week." He said, "In case you don't feel like it again." And that was his way of saying, "You better be here." And I did well on it. I don't remember if I got an A, but I did well on it. I remember not being disappointed, and he didn't hold it against me. Yes, Danae, the truth will set you free. It definitely will. And there's a lot of reasoning behind it because you look at life and you look at it in little snippets of time, right? You're young. What's expected of you, right? What are you supposed to do? Your homework? You know the power of living in truth. John 8:32. We hear it everywhere. Posters, speeches, even in the movies. The truth will set you free. And the saying comes right out of the Bible. People don't realize that. They think it's just some cool saying. Uh, what does it really mean? Why does it matter? Why? How could it change your life spiritually? How could it change your everyday relationships? How could you get away with something with the boss? First of all, he was speaking to a bunch of people that believed in him. That helps. If they respect you, they'll listen to what you have to say. If you continue my word and you're truly my disciples, and you will know the truth will set you free. At first glance, it looks like Jesus was talking about much more than just telling the truth, right? Like, who robbed me? You better tell me now. You would think that Jesus got ripped off and now he's trying to con everybody because he's smarter than everybody. But the people that listened to him, they thought they were already free because of their heritage, their traditions. But Jesus points out that real freedom isn't just about outward circumstances. Anyone that lives in sin is not truly free. Trapped by wrong choices, harmful habits, self deception, whatever. The truth comes from living out the truth he teaches you. So you kind of, he has the patent on what truth is, and you have to applaud. But what does the freedom mean? Spiritual versus worldly freedom, right? You think about having no rules when you hear the word freedom. Freedom is like, oh, I can do whatever I want. You think you just don't have to answer to anybody. It means not being controlled by anyone, pretty much. So, in the worldly sense, that's what people mean. But he's talking about a deeper freedom, spiritual freedom, right? Being released from the grip of sin, shame, guilt, freeing yourself from the lies someone tells themselves to get through the day. It's not about what goes on outside, it's about what goes on inside. The truth will break chains that hold us back. And those chains could be fear, regret, need to put on a mask in front of others. It could be anything. So, experimental knowledge, knowing truth versus just hearing about it. Think you learn to ride a bike. I remember when I was young, I learned to ride a bike. You could read a manual, right? You can watch a video, but you're not really free until you ride that thing. And you're really free once you fall. You have to practice it. In the same way, spiritual freedom comes from putting Jesus' teachings into practice. And that's what it's all about. Yeah, Mike, people are afraid because they're not going to be perceived the way they look. I come on here, right? Many of you I know in person. Hopefully, some I will meet. I come on here. I thought she was up. Hold on. I don't want to work. I want to go back to bed. So I come on here. I see shitty pajamas here, but I walk in. I say, "Hey, everybody, how you doing?" Sometimes I do that. I pull up and I say, "So, in and of itself, I can't possibly be me because I'm in front of people. There's a perception that I want you to see, but that doesn't mean you're seeing the perception that I'm trying to make you see, and that's disjointed, and that's the problem. Uh, you can't be oneself in front of people. You could put on a good mask, but then when do you take the mask off? Yeah, absolutely. It's just that's the way it is. You know, you have to really believe that you have answers that'll help, right? Now, uh, I see here you wrote, yeah, Danae, yeah, the integration of the personality called Chung, yeah, and Jung was brilliant. You know, those the chapters that he wrote about were usually lectures given at Eranos at Scania, Switzerland. The books are called Jung, and you know, a process of individuation and archetypes of collective unconscious and all that shit he wrote about. I did a paper on him in graduate school, uh, and he is really. Do you really? I prefer me to both of them. That would be a great blueprint. How about this? I will write a song about Jung. Give me a couple of days. I'll put something down with music and I'll play it for you. How's that? Yeah, Jung was the problem with all these philosophers back in the day, everyone thought they were Marxists. No one bothered to read between the lines. You know, it's like me telling you something and then finding out later someone was listening and I had to tell you that. And I had to beat around the bush. There was a lot of censorship back then. These people were called out for everything they said. So they had to be very careful. But, you know, if you read the books of Vishnu, the Dalai Lama, which I've studied that. In fact, my friend who was, I dated her in the 80s. I'll show you her. She's a rockette. And when we had a ball in the mid 80s, she was like 6 years younger than me then, too. That's her. It's my, I don't know if you can see it. Oh, can't you see it? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take the room's a mess, but I don't care. I trust you guys not to make fun of me with it. Uh, there it is. That's her. You really can't see it. There she is. And she was a great dancer, Rockette. And has he been? Well, that's great to know. because I'm going to definitely look into him. I did I did my a long time ago, but I'm going to I'll look into him. Definitely. Um, I'm going to write a song. I know you do, Mike. And Mike, hit me up on email. I'm going to give you my number. I'd love to talk to you, and we'll do a great show because you're a cool dude. And you have an amazing, and tell all your friends when you're going to be on. We'll make you a star. But you're a star anyway. You are the type of person, Danae, Lee, and Mitch, Maria, why I bother to do this. Because I get so much out of this talking to you guys. Mitch is saying hi again. I saw you before. How you doing? No, no, no. We won a dance contest. And we were giving the finger to the photographer who thought we wouldn't win. But she's a great dancer. She taught Paula Abdul. She choreographed that song. What's that song in '89? He drinks beer, I drink champagne, something like that. She choreographed for her. She's a professor in Juilliard now, believe it or not. She's a very bright girl. She speaks 6 languages. Nice girl too. Good person. How I met her. Do you want to hear the story? It's a really bad story. Press 1, anybody that wants to hear it. This will tell you how I wasn't always a nice guy. Ended up dating her, but that picture was in '96. So if you want to hear it, just press 1 and I'll tell you. It's a good story. It shows me in a bad light. It's a sad story, actually. Okay, Mitch. I'm working at Shout, 50/60s Club. They had on the stage every half hour or so girls with hula hoops and little acts. Trina, we call her name's Patrina, called her Trina back then. She worked the little store downstairs near the coat check that sold candy from the 50s and sweatshirts, a gift shop. And I see her writing a letter saying that, "Oh, so mom, I'm dancing off Broadway." I said, "You're dancing at Shout. You're not in an off Broadway club here. You have a fucking hula hoop around your waist." She got all bitchy. All the security asked her out. She was gorgeous. I didn't care. So, I didn't have a girlfriend at the time. So the payphone is 6 feet across from the store. She's throwing candy kisses at me to annoy me. I went to the owner, Jack Stickney, and said, "Your girl down there, that Trina, she wasted probably like $3 worth of your candy. They took it out of her check." It gets better. We go to Atlantic City. Shout they get a bus to go to Atlantic City. My friend Jeff, who's the head of security, puts her next to me as a joke, sitting, seat assignments. We didn't say one thing, 240 down, or going back. maybe a month or 2 later, meet cute. A month or 2 later, I come in to set up for the cocktail hour. It's a Thursday night from 5 to 9. They had, tables set up, travel agencies, all this stuff, carving board. Then at, like, 9, everybody had to leave, and then shout opened up at 10, the regular. The girl that answered the phone, I'm there early, says, "Vin, can you take this call? Someone's screaming. I don't know what's going on." I get on. I said, "Who is this?" She goes, "It's Padrina." I said, "What's the matter?" She goes, "They stole my niece." I said, "What?" "Oh, it's okay, Danae. You'll have your song up in a bit." I said, "Well, where are you?" She was right near Hunter College. There was a jewelry store across the street. I'll be right there. My car was in the front because I had a perfect spot before the ropes go up. I take off. I wasn't due to work really for a while anyway. I just went to the cocktail hour, but I wasn't due to work till 10. I get there. "Oh, you're very, very welcome, Danae. You do a lot for me. You do." The doors are all locked, this big jewelry store. And what happened was her sister, Kathy, had a 1-year-old, came in to visit Patty. They went shopping, has the stroller. The stroller's facing out. They're looking like this. She goes to take the stroller. It's very light. The baby's gone. They locked the stores. They went through every credit card receipt. And I was there for like 2 hours with her. All of a sudden, I didn't hate her anymore. And if it was anybody else that answered the phone that would have gone there, it would have been them. But it shook me up. I took her home. I called Jeff, said, "I'm not coming in." He said, "Of course," because I had told them what happened. Um, she lived on 60th Street, big building right aside from the Queensboro Bridge. 59th Street Bridge, whatever it is. And I'm sitting there, and her head is on my shoulder crying. And you put your arm around the person. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. We got super close. I really never had any reason to not like her, other than I heard stories from the bouncers, but that was because they all asked her out and she said no. So they thought she was a bitch. She wasn't a bitch. She didn't want to go out with a bouncer. Well, she went out with this one because I probably showed her that I wasn't looking for that. And we became very tight, and to this day, we talk to each other. And the most amazing part, 30 years later, they found that kid living in a commune in, I think it was New Mexico, from Prince. And she didn't remember anything, Gloria. She didn't remember anything. She was like 14 or 15 months. And imagine, I think there was a raid on this commune, and there were a lot of kids, and Patty had to fly down there. Patty's sister committed suicide about 3 years after that. Her husband broke up with her because he felt like, "What did you have to go see your sister for? She's in New York. She's single. You have a family here." Kind of right. I would never say that to her. But it was unbelievable. And I met Gloria, and Patty's told her how that night was the worst night in her life because she felt responsible that they were coming to see her for Christmas when she could have gone out there. And it wa- it happened about 5 years ago. No, it's 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever it was. And I just I was shocked because she had gotten false hope before and it never worked out. This time, she always went through it. She flew there knowing it's not going to work out. This time it did. So you always have to have a little hope. Hope can set you free. Remember that. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you tomorrow. In about 20 minutes, I'll have the songs up for February 11th. And they're going to be dedicated to all of you. See you soon.